Hi, this is Dr. Dave Kopaz, and I'm recording meditations from my book, Caring for Self and Others, Transforming Burnout, Compassion Fatigue, and Soul Loss. I have 10 different dimensions or domains of human being within the book, and then within each of these, I've got 3 different subdomains. So that gives 30 different meditations that I've got for each of these different domains. Plus, I've got a basic one on grounding, which is what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to go through sequentially. This is caring for the body. And in caring for body, I divided it into 3 domains of embodying. How can we fully embody, live within our bodies? How can we animating our bodies, and then nourishing. What do we need, not just for physical fuel, but to think about what our body needs to be happy, joyful, not only to be fueled, but these different concepts of embodied, animated, and nourished for kind of human flourishing, I suppose you could say. So there's a quote that I really like from Stephen Cope, who's a yoga instructor, and this is from Yoga and the Quest for the True Self. So Cope said that as we begin to re-experience a visceral reconnection with the needs of our bodies, another amazing change emerges. There's a brand new capacity to warmly love the self. We experience a new quality of authenticity in our caring, which redirects our attention to our health, our diets, our energy, our time management. This enhanced care for the self arises spontaneously and naturally, not as a response to a should. It feels naturally satisfying. We're able to experience an immediate and intrinsic pleasure in self-care. And this is very important to me because there's a lot about, disciplining the body, exercising the body like it's a dog, feeding it only certain things, taking it to the gym, almost treating it like it's a car that we're just taking care of, that it's an inanimate object that we're managing from outside rather than living with inside and listening to our own wisdom, inner wisdom of our body and our embodied self. So moving from these idea of shoulds to what does the body want and what is actually pleasurable. How does caring evolve not as a should, but caring evolve out of a spontaneous relationship, as Cope says, an intrinsic pleasure, so that what we're doing is what we want to be doing, not what we think we should be doing or what other people tell us we should be doing. So to start with today, I'm going to talk about a grounding practice or a grounding meditation of coming back into the body. And this is a very basic practice that you can use anytime that you're feeling anxious, distressed. It's particularly important with people who've had trauma experiences, because with trauma experiences, sometimes as you go into the body or the emotions or the mind or the heart, things come up, difficult things come up from the past, and those can feel re-traumatizing. So grounding helps you be in the present moment, not being in the past and not thinking about the future where anxiety and panic can happen, but being currently in the moment where you are in a safe place. So as through the book and through these videos, I'm going to give you different practices and exercises that are aimed at working at what it is to be a human being, or being, fully human. So there's an idea of trauma sensitive or trauma informed practices. So in medicine, sometimes we say primum non nocere, or, first do no harm. And so in doing a meditation, we want to make sure that you feel safe and the meditation doesn't feel like something that's unsafe as you're doing it. Particularly, again, people who've had trauma can feel unsafe inhabiting or embodying in themselves. A good reference is Samsa's concept of trauma and guidance for a trauma-informed approach. So that reference is in my book, or you can just look that up online. Samsa is S-A-M-H-S-A. So Remember that the goal of the practices is caring for self. So caring for yourself is more important than doing a practice the way it's written or the way I talk about it. Make the practice your own so that it feels comfortable and safe and really feels like something that brings you pleasure rather than something that you're trying to soldier through. So there's a paradox, though, that growth often involves pain and working with feelings and memories you'd rather forget. So the art of working with uncomfortable things or transforming suffering is to not let it overwhelm you, but to work with a little bit and then to back out, and work with a little bit more and then to back out. So the grounding is the backing out. You know, when you're going into some type of uncomfortable or distressing memory or feeling that you're having, go into it, and when it starts to feel overwhelming, then use this grounding technique to kind of bring you back in the moment, to kind of look at where you are and to be in the present. When people are ungrounded, sometimes they feel up in their head, they feel anxious, dizzy, lightheaded, feeling like your heart might be racing or having palpitations. All of these are basic fight or flight symptoms. So fight, flight, or freeze responses. And they happen when people feel unsafe or ungrounded. So oddly enough, some people, when they meditate, they hit this layer of things that they would rather not deal with. And when they hit that, then they flip up kind of out of body into this ungrounded feeling where they start getting panicky. And the panic is basically an escape to try to avoid experiencing whatever that distress or that suffering is. So, and then grounding is kind of the antidote to that panic. So we could also think in terms of soul loss that I talk about in the book, that the feeling of ungrounded is your soul is kind of leaving your body or disconnected from your body, and you're looking at things from up above. And these symptoms of impending soul loss are a feeling that like you're not real, that you're disconnected from yourself, that you're looking down upon yourself. And so what we're doing in these exercises is a kind of soul recovery. We're trying to help you bring kind of mind and body and soul and spirit all back into alignment and all back into the present reality. Okay. So, and then, so if a practice that I teach here through the videos or that you read in a book or any book, if it doesn't feel good for you or doesn't feel safe, skip that practice. I tell people that meditation is like the broad category of sports. There's sports like boxing, football, soccer, ping pong, chess. I suppose you could say chess might be a kind of sport in a way. So there's all these this range of things that are all in this category of sports, but somebody might like one and not like another. Just because you're no good at basketball doesn't mean you might not like croquet or ping pong or tennis. So, try meditation. If it doesn't really work for you, try some others. A common thing that people say is, I can't meditate because my mind races or my thoughts don't slow down. So that's a misconception that people think that meditation means not having any thoughts. Whereas meditation really means becoming comfortable with your thoughts, becoming comfortable with your body sensations, becoming comfortable with your emotions. So sometimes I tell people that, say this is the suffering that you've got, and this is yourself or your consciousness. And you look and there's very little space. Most of the space is taken up by the suffering. So a lot of times people say if I could get rid of the suffering, I'd have this much space that I would be, suffering-free sphere of my experience. However, it doesn't really work. You can't really get rid of what's happened to you or get rid of your emotions or get rid of, because they're part of yourself. However, another approach is if you can expand your consciousness, if you can expand your awareness of yourself, then it's the same amount of suffering that's there, but every expansion means that it's taking up a smaller percentage of the overall space that you have, the kind of conflict-free sphere. So meditation allows you to accept that the suffering is there and to just kind of breathe and relax and flow around the suffering, to expand around the suffering, and the suffering takes up a smaller and smaller percentage in your life. So the goal of meditation is not to have no thoughts, it's to be comfortable with your thoughts. Okay, let's see what else here. There's a book reference that I give here, Emerson and Hopper's book, Overcoming Trauma Through Yoga, Reclaiming Your Body, is a good book at looking at the way that trauma can inhabit the body, and how you can do different exercises and work through yoga and meditation to create more sense of safety within your body. So I'll go ahead and give you the practice now. So with any practice, you want to sit comfortably, you want to be able to breathe freely, and I tell people to either close your eyes or let your eyes relax so that you're just kind of gazing gently down with your eyes partly closed. Some people who've had trauma feel unsafe closing their eyes because they can't tell what's going on around them. So if you feel more panicky or anxious closing your eyes, you just open your eyes a little bit and look down. You can even in meditation have your eyes wide open and look around the room while you're breathing or doing exercises, and that helps with grounding as well. A couple different techniques too can be, let's see, having like something solid like a rock, a paperweight. So I've got this here, a little paperweight with a fossilized nautilus shell on it. And if you're feeling lightheaded and not connected to your body, having something solid that you're holding in your hands, and you can even kind of rub it or squeeze it or something, it gives you physical sensation, helps you embody, re-inhabit your body, and to come into the present moment. Having bare feet walking in the grass, or bare feet having your feet on the floor, like in a seated position like this. You can rub your feet on the floor, and that kind of stimulates your soles of your feet, and stimulating the soles of your feet helps your soul, come back into the body, even though they're spelled differently. The soul attracts soul. And what else here? Rubbing your hands together creates a friction and heat in your body, so you can do that as well. If you're feeling lightheaded or anxious, it helps you bring that energy back into your body, to feel your body. There's even some like Tai Chi warm-up exercises where you kind of chop your body lightly all the way down your legs, or you can use an open hand like this and go up and down just through your whole body, just bringing sensation and awareness into your body. So you can carry around like a small rock or pebble. Let's see, I was going to grab something. I'll just grab it from over here. So here's a rock that I found. Can't remember exactly where I found it. It's a nice little kind of quartz. It's got a little bit of translucence to it, and it's nice and smooth. Sometimes people call them worry stones, so you can carry that in your pocket. And if you're feeling panicky, anxious, ungrounded, unsafe, have something solid that people might not even notice, or you can have it in your desk or in a meeting, have it in one hand, and just holding on to this and using it as a reminder about the solidity of your body. Okay, so here's the practice. Sit comfortably. Sometimes I call this a noble posture, where your head is over your shoulders, is over your hips. So you're not slouching, leaning forward, letting a chair completely support you. You're activating your inner core strength to support your body, so that you are creating a feedback loop of, I can support myself. I'm safe and I can support myself. So you're creating a solid, stable base. You don't want to be rigid, like where somebody could push you over, but you want to be relaxed, but noble, having a noble carriage. So you can put your hands either palms on your legs. This can be good, and even rubbing your palms on your legs can be another way of grounding. And you can also put your hands together, hold your hands together or press your hands together. This can be kind of reassuring too. It creates sort of a circuit between your arms and your hands. Or, a common thing is where people meditate like this with their palms in their lap. But a real good grounding one is palms down on the legs, and you can always just rub the thighs to kind of bring the awareness and energy into your legs. So, okay. So we found a noble posture, comfortable posture. Feet are flat on the floor, which is good for grounding. A lot of people tuck their feet up, but that actually can make you feel less stable and secure. So for grounding purposes, having your feet flat on the floor and maybe even barefoot is good. So to start with, take 3 deep breaths, and with each breath, feeling more solid and present. With the first breath, allow your lungs to fully expand and feel the sensations of your chest opening. And as you let the breath out, imagine your body becoming more solid and connected to the chair and the floor. With the second breath, breathe down a little deeper into your belly and feel your hips connecting to the chair. As you breathe out, imagine sinking into the chair. And with the third breath, breathe all the way down into your feet, allowing your feet to feel heavy and solid and connected to the floor. And as you breathe out, allow your body to feel solid and connected to the earth. You can even remind yourself that your body is made of matter that came from the earth and will return to the earth. Many traditional cultures think of Mother Earth as a source and protector of all life. So all of the carbon and oxygen, everything that's in our body, the hydrogen, the iron, the natural occurring salts and metals, they've all come from the earth at some point, been incorporated through food into our body, and then we're in a constant communication or relationship with the earth. So again, just notice how solid and in the present do you feel right now. Are you aware of your body as well as your thoughts? If you're feeling lost in your thoughts, just open your eyes a little bit and let your eyes look down. If you're really feeling lost, hyperventilating, anxious, ungrounded, you'll look around the room and say, okay, I'm in this room. I'm in this space. I can see a tree outside the window and its roots go down deep into the earth. And just like my spine, the tree is in a noble posture. It's supporting itself and it's connected to the earth. You can rub your legs, rub your feet on the floor, have your rock or some kind of solid object. Take another deep breath. Let's do 3 more deep breaths again, feeling more and more solid with each breath. Breathing in, bringing in nourishment and support in the form of oxygen. Feeling solid, secure, and safe, and letting go of carbon dioxide, letting go of what you no longer need. Second breath, breathing in support, filling yourself with support, and breathing out, letting go of what you no longer need. And one more breath, breathing deeply in. See if you can breathe all the way down to your feet, feeling your feet on the ground, maybe moving them against the floor. And as you breathe out, letting go of what you no longer need. And at the end of a meditation, even a short one, you can start to wiggle your hands and feet, moving your fingers and toes, starting there with the limbs. You can move, you can stretch if you want to or feel a need to. Sometimes people will yawn. That's another way of grounding too, just doing the stretching, lying on the ground and doing some gentle stretching, yawning, just becoming comfortable in your body. And as Stephen Cope says, connecting into the pleasure of caring for yourself. So thank you for listening and doing this exercise on grounding, and please look forward to the next videos from the book. As I said, there will be 31 different meditations as I go through the book, and this is the first one. So thank you, and remember to take care of yourself.